Hey, and welcome back to Bane's Bites. I'm Bane. So today, instead of cooking something, as you can see, the holidays are just around the corner. We're just chilling. And instead of showing you guys something great to eat like I always do, instead I'm going to show you some of my favorite things that I use to make some of the great stuff that we make for you guys. You get whatever you want. I'm just going to show you some stuff that I love and some stuff you may not have ever seen or may not have ever known you needed. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start with. You may have seen me use it, you may not have. I use it all the time. Say, what on earth does this do? It peels your garlic for you. Man, I can't tell you how much I hate peeling garlic. You just take a clove, you take your head of garlic, bust off a clove, you can chop the bottom off if you want, and you stick 2 or 3 in here, you kind of crush and roll, and believe it or not, the heads of garlic will fly out clean, no peel. The peel will fall off by itself. It's small, it's compact. Get them one of these garlic peelers. Up next is another one of my favorite things. We asked for this for our wedding. I saw it on another channel. It's a trivet, right? So everybody has this drawer where you open it up and stuff explodes, and you got hot pan holders and pot holders and crate. This thing is great. It's made by Joseph & Joseph. I've never seen another brand that makes one, but it'll extend out for a full casserole or a pizza or a big roasted pan of smoked meat. You get all done, it folds up, tucks right inside the drawer. 3 or 4 of those makes all this go away. Now these next ones are something that I truly love. Do you need them? No. Do you need anything? Not usually. They're called bear paws. You can find them on Amazon. Again, you find them almost anywhere. None of this stuff is fancy. So far, none of this is that expensive. These are pretty darn cheap. But they're really, really handy if I do a big pork butt or I smoke a big chuck roast and I'm looking to shred it. Instead of getting in there with forks and messing with it, or even if I'm trying to get a roast out of a pan, you grab it right on, you transfer it into your bowl or your pan, you can shred it and tear it apart. Plus they look kind of cool. Most barbecue guys would love a pair of these. Super easy, cheap and fun gift for you. Up next is something I don't actually use what it's supposed to be used for. I love this thing. It's technically an onion holder or vegetable holder. You're designed to slice it into an onion, use it as a guide, come down, you can make thin slices. What I use this for is I use it as a jacquard. Now a jacquard is a tenderizer. It's usually got a bunch of blades. You got to put a lot of pressure into it. It kind of crushes the meat to tenderize it, and they can kind of be pretty expensive. This, $5-6, multi-use tool. You just slam it in, tenderize what you need if you're trying to marinate something better or quicker. Again, kind of cool, kind of fun. You may not need it, but I really like it. Yep, it's a rolling pin. This is the one we got just because it makes things a little bit easier. These guides here at the end, you unscrew them and they work as spacers. So each one's got a measurement on it. You can see how thick you want your dough. It's in millimeters or inches, so 3/8 of an inch, and it gets smaller and smaller. Or you can use it without the guides just as a regular rolling pin. But if you want some thin pastry dough or you want to get some pizza dough rolled out, you can set your thickness. It's just something different, kind of easy. You screw your top back on, something I love to use, something neat. You may not have seen it before. Everybody's got a pizza cutter, or at least I hope you do. If you love pizza as much as me, you may have 2 or 3. But something fun, if you're having a party and you want a showstopper, they're not that expensive. It's called a pizza rocker. It's just a lot more fun. It's easier to cut. You get straighter lines. You can see what you're doing versus pushing and running through like this. You don't need it. We don't need it, but I love it. We actually use it quite a bit. We don't use this almost at all anymore. So something cool, something different, kind of one of those statement pieces. There's the next one I want to show you. You can find them on Amazon. Most of this stuff you can find almost anywhere, but it's a dressing shaker. I love to make my own vinaigrettes, put together a quick dressing or a marinade or something like that. It's got measurements down the side. You put all your ingredients in, you don't have to mess with measuring this and that and that. Screw it on tight. It's got a little cap on top that push shut, push forward, shake up your dressing, pour it open, and dress your salad. Something cool, something fun, something different, and something we use quite a bit. Now next to your stove, hopefully you have some sort of a spoon rest. So do we. But something I like even better is actually something like this. So sometimes when I'm cooking, and hopefully you are too, I've got more than one pot or pan on the stove. And I don't like stacking my spoon and my whisk and having them all laying around. And so with this, it's simple. It's got little slots. You can run 4. They have different sizes. You can grab your spatula, you stir whatever you're making, lay it down. You got room for 3 more right there. And you don't have to mess with these anymore. So that's most of the smaller stuff that usually comes out of the drawer. And some of them really do make cooking a lot easier and a lot simpler. But let's step it up to stuff that's just a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more expensive, but some is a little bit more fun too. So the first one here is an electric wine opener. And I've seen friends and family that have the rechargeable ones that die after a year or two. This is the one I love. Right here, the base. It's a foil cutter. You can put it down on your wine, twist it open. But this one's battery powered. I'd really recommend you look for that. The wireless ones tend to die after a while. They recharge a couple times, and after a year or so, depends on how much wine you drink, they tend to start to crap out. They don't have the oomph. Good battery powered wine opener. Put it on, push it down. It'll pop the cork out. Lift it up, pop the cork right in your hand, into the cork holder it goes. Now we get to something that I do consider pretty important. I'm sure we all grew up with our moms or grandmas or dads, whoever's in the kitchen growing up, had an old bimetallic thermometer. It may have even had the little dial on the red line, or if you're old enough, mercury back then. Throw those away. Get rid of them, don't use them. We've moved on. Now there's a ton of thermometers and I use them in almost everything I cook. So when I'm cooking chicken, chicken is safe once you hit 165 degrees. It's not worth guessing, and at the same point, it's not worth cooking it to 190 degrees and getting some dry puck that tastes terrible. Chicken should be easy, but chicken should be safe. There's different scales, there's different ranges, but at a minimum, go out and spend $5 or $10 on a cheap, basic, digital, instant read thermometer. This is my newest go-to. I think I picked it up on Amazon for $9 or $10. It's magnetic, you can slap it on the fridge, you can slap it on the grill. All you do is pop it open, it instantly turns on. It's got an LED backlight if I'm out there in the dark trying to finish something or putting something on early. Stick it in, I get an instant read, I know where my food's at, I know it's safe, I know what doneness it is. They're really cheap, but they're really, really important. Now, again, I do a lot of barbecue, and sometimes this doesn't do quite what I want. So I stepped up after these a while ago, picked up a basic remote thermometer. It's got a probe that runs to a little monitor. I can go out there on the Traeger, I plug it in, it works through Bluetooth, I bring my monitor in, watching the football game, I can set an alert. It'll tell me where my barbecue's at, where my steaks are at, whatever I'm cooking, I can watch it all day long. When it hits a certain temp, it beeps, it flashes, it tells me to go out and check it. I think this was 35 or 40 bucks. There's a ton of different brands. You can spend a lot more. Something like this is a really nice upgrade. So once I got my Blackstone and then the pizza oven, I went ahead and got an infrared thermometer because I wanted to see surface temperature. I can zap it with this. It'll tell me what the surface temp is. It's a really easy toy. It's also kind of a fun dog toy with the laser. But if you just want to check the surface temp of something like this, really easy, not that expensive, but a fun and cool tool to have. Now, if you know someone in your family or a friend who really loves barbecue, really loves that low and slow lifestyle, and you're looking for something they may not have that'll be a real showstopper and they will absolutely love, hands down to me, I gotta recommend you go grab a meter thermometer. So all I'll say is Meter sells 3 different ones. They sell a basic meter, it's less than 100 bucks, a Meter Plus, which is just one of these sticks, or the full-blown block. It's way too expensive, but man, it's cool as all get out. We give you an external temp, an internal temp, totally wireless. These probes have no wires, you stick them in. You can watch it on your phone, set alerts, you can send it to friends across the country. It's all run through a cloud. Really cool barbecue guru tip. All right, we're getting down to the last 2. One of my favorite things we keep down below is an immersion blender. You can pick up a whole set on Amazon for 30, 40 bucks. But an immersion blender is really nice if you're making a pizza sauce and you've got some stewed tomatoes in a pot and you want to crush them up and get them smooth. You just stick this down in, you hit one of your 2 high or low powers. The blade down here comes down and blends it without having to transfer it to a blender and move it back over. It's great for mixing up marinades. It's great for all kinds of stuff. Most of them come with different attachments. If you just want a simple whisk, you're making a quick whisk whipped cream. Also comes usually with a little measuring cup like this. If you're making something up you want to put in, zap it up. Super versatile. Most people don't know what they are, haven't seen them, or just don't have one. But once you get one, you'll find you use it all the time. So here we are at the end. One of my favorite things. It was gifted to me by my beautiful wife one year, and I love it. I always wanted one, but I never pulled the trigger. Is a sous vide. Now, if you've never heard of a sous vide, they get used in restaurants a lot, and they've really grown up in popularity recently. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Usually around Black Friday and the holidays, this Innova Nano, it's a great unit, $100 or less. You can pick up a cheap little vacuum seal unit if you don't already have one. It's a great way to help store your leftovers, to keep freezer burn out of the way. One of these, 30, 40 bucks if you want to get a cheaper one. Again, you can go, the sky is the limit. You can spend as much as you want. 100 bucks for a sous vide, and I went ahead and upgraded to a tub. It's got a built-in lid and a little rack down here. You can put your meats. This rack came from Amazon. It fits in perfect. You can put your steaks or whatever you're putting in for your sous vide in here. It's got a little clip on top to hold everything down under the water. Throw your lid on top. Your sous vide fits right down in here. It's got a little blanket around it to keep your water temp up, use less power and make it more efficient. But another thing you don't necessarily need, you can just use a regular pot, but they're not that expensive. So if you don't actually know what a sous vide is or what it does, to me, it's the best steak cooker you'll ever get. What this does is it heats up water in a container. It can be a big pot. You can use clips on the side. That's where I started. You don't need a vacuum sealer. You can just use a Ziploc. You can get all the fancy attachments. It's not that much to add on. But back to the sous vide, it will cook a steak perfect every time. You put your steak in there for an hour or two, as long as you want. It will cook that steak from top to bottom and middle perfectly, medium rare, medium well. Can't go any farther than that. You pull your steak out. I love using a little flamethrower torch. You sear the edge, you can use a cast iron pan, you can hot grill or griddle. You sear off your steak and it comes out perfect every time. It's a great gift if you've got a culinarian, if you've got a foodie, you love someone who loves to cook, you want to give them something they may not know about, something they will absolutely love. Go out and get them a sous vide and then invite yourself over for steaks later. So again, the holidays are around the corner. I love to cook. I know you know someone who loves to cook. And if you're struggling for a great idea for them, for Christmas, for birthday, whatever it may be, these are some of the things I love that I use. You may not have heard of, you may not know about, but they make great, great, great gifts for anybody who wants to learn to cook or wants to get better at cooking or wants cool gizmos and gadgets like I do. If you like what we're doing, like the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, shoot them down in the comment. If you like this, I can show you more stuff I love. I've got ovens and pizzas and grills for days, so let us know. And as always, y'all have a great day and some happy holidays.